that plant is also a living being. It can breathe. It's just that the difference with plants and us is that it is not mobile and we're mobile. The food is having chemicals in the form of, you can say, antioxidants, in the form of proteins, in the form of lipids, carbohydrates. So it's going all inside you and it's mixing with your bloodstream, it's flowing into your brain, and then through neurons, the signals are happening, and boom, your emotion is born.
So these are
Yeah.
not taught in our schooling. They only
No.
taught us the intellectually how should we grow, but they did not teach us how should we live.
Just understand the taste of it, feel it, and making a connection with that food, that what is going into my body.
Hello, welcome you all to Breathe Better and Live Better talk show. So today we have one of the important guests, Dr. Tanya Das, who is plant biochemist. She is going to share us about the food and emotions, how the food impact on our emotions. So you might be confused, like how the food we are eating is going to impact. She is going to decode that in scientific format, how that is going to influence on our emotions, our thoughts, and our stress and worries in our day life. So even in yoga we say tamas, rajas, and sattvic. So we have three categories. The food we are eating divided into these three categories as per Indian philosophy. But today we are going to see the scientific aspect around to it. So thank you, Dr. Tanya Das, for coming here and like taking the session for our audience and giving the knowledge about how the scientific aspect, how it influences on our mind. So let me read out the profile of Dr. Tanya. So Dr. Tanya is a biochemist turned mind shape wealth coach, and she worked as a research scientist and assistant professor, mentored 10 plus batch students from UG level and PhD. So Dr. Tanya, I think like with your research you have done so far, I think you can add huge value to all our audience to bring out the real facts behind how food influences on emotions. Thank you, Dr. Tanya.
Oh. Well, thank you so much, Badrina, to having me in your show. It's a it's a great opportunity for me to represent this topic, as well as shed a light on the scientific aspect of our emotions and how we behave and act, and
Yeah.
how we eat foods and how foods impacts our lives, as well as our behaviors, and how we connect with other people. So it's great to be here. Thank you.
Great, great. So, Dr. Tanya, it's the important work you are doing as a professor, teaching the students and everything. So, I want to understand what really motivated you to choose this profession as a biochemist,
Okay, biochemist. Well, I would say
or
that it happened
like the research in the space of this, whatever you are going to talk
this
about.
area. Okay,
Yeah.
this happened as an accident, rather. Although I
Mm-hmm.
was interested in biology, I was going to go for a biotechnology subject, but this biochemistry happened, and
Okay.
I had to connect with biochemistry. And some people still don't know that these are the sister branch. They are not the same. Uh,
Okay.
Biotechnology is some technological part, and chemistry is like we deal with chemical reactions that's happening in living organisms. So
Mm.
as we all know right now, that plant is also a living being. It can breathe. It's just that the difference with plants and us is that it is not mobile and we're mobile. So plant is also can feel and can send out signals, and
Oh wow.
it also has its own self-defense mechanism going on inside, and it's all biochemical procedures, and the area that studies all these sectors is biosignaling and biostatistics parts. So it's very interesting actually, and how I jumped into this, and it started to reveal itself in front of
Mm.
me, and you can say that I fell in love with it through the process. It didn't happen in the first place though.
Wow, wow, wow. That's amazing. So, it's very, very interesting, even, see, I never read that much, I haven't done that deep research about this. But when you're
Hmm.
talking about this, I can remember that, like, we call that as prana, the life. Even the
Hmm.
plants has that life.
Yes.
Even the animals has that life. Even we only think like only humans or animals are having, but even plants also having the life and the living beings. That's a very very interesting, like for like to hear from you as as a plant biochemist, to understand like how plant also has some emotions, how plant also has some healing capabilities as a
Yes.
prana. So wow, that's interesting. Like that would be a very great topic also for us. So like
Yeah.
now I want to understand, like the first question is,
Yeah.
how does food affect our emotions?
Okay. So first, we need to understand that what emotion is. Uh,
Okay.
we think that this is emotion is something that is happening to us, or it's a feeling, but it is
Hmm.
not the feeling. It is how we are interpreting it. That whatever is happening, and however if we interpret it and then we label it, then it becomes an emotion.
Hmm.
Like in a similar situation, some people feel sad, and in the same at the same time other it can feel angry.
Yeah.
So it's a process. It's a process
Mm-hmm.
that is happening. For example, the fear is the process of fearing. You're getting scared. So it's a process. The emotion that you are exerting, it is fear. It's frightness that you are showing. On the other hand, food, what we know about food is like it is having a diverse colors, shape, size, appearance, smells, and it gives some sort of signals into our brains through which it connects. Sometimes it connects with the moment that we had it for the first time, or with whom we had it for the first time. It's like it's a connection, it's a signal that it sends. All these things that they're happening inside a brain that we're having through that food. Now what food is having, on the other hand, the food is having chemicals in the form of you can say antioxidants, in the form of proteins, in the form of lipids, carbohydrates. So it's going all inside you and it's mixing with your bloodstream, it's flowing into your brain, and then through neurons the signals are happening, and boom, your emotion is born. It's like that. So
Oh wow.
yeah,
Oh,
see.
basically, like whatever the nutrients which we need for our body is coming through
Hmm.
food, one of the
Yes.
form, like as water, air, and food.
Hmm.
So that is mixing in our bloodstream, and that really like uh, like impact on our emotions.
Yeah, it's
Wow,
giving us
wow.
energy. And what emotion is, it's energy that we're showing,
Yeah, it's
right?
a different
And
energy, like
energy,
mm,
and energy has intensity level.
radiates. Yeah, the
Yeah,
radiance in that
it
energy.
has intensity level. Okay. So
Wow.
like
Mm,
if
yeah.
some people feel boredom and sad, okay,
Mm,
they indulge in having foods. Now
mm,
this also has a negative side of it. Like sometimes people go and indulge in having unhealthy foods, and what they don't understand is this unhealthy foods can increase that intensity of their current or running emotion that is going on. If they are feeling bored, they are going to feel more bored. If they are feeling angry, it's gonna just increase its intensity. So it's really necessary for us to understand that how food and emotions that we show, or the resultant part, it has a connection, and how it impacting, and which is actually happening in the back end. We're not able to see, we're not able to understand. We think that okay, I just want to eat, and which is actually stress eating, which I also used to do when I used to feel stressed, and I thought that I was just a foodie. But no, it is a stress that I needed to understand, I needed to look within. And then I what I had to do is just having foods which are having more nutritional value, rather than just having those foods without even feeling hungry. So
yeah. Wow,
yeah,
wow.
that was important for me to even figure out. It happened to me because I have my thesis work on stress
Mm,
effect on plants.
mhm.
So how plant behaves, and its biochemical reactions and physiological reactions when it is under stress. So while studying those plants, I understood, okay, if they are showing these kind of physiological behaviors, or even the grains or the fruits that we see, that is that we're getting from those plants. So
Yeah.
we can see that it is not of that great quality, the fruits or the grains. Then what is actually happening inside? Okay, and
Mm.
now that we're having those fruits or grains from that plant which was under stress, how it is
Mm.
reacting to our body, because I guess everybody is now more prone to having organic foods. Now, what
Yeah.
organic foods anyway? Organic food is something which are grown in a field which are not having any synthetic pesticides or insecticides. Okay, so that means it's coming out of nature. Here the soil is more fertile and it's having more organic matter in it, rather than
Mm.
some synthetic synthetically made nutrients for those plants.
Mm.
So
Mm.
if we are consuming that and we know that it has some health hazards, uh, you know how do I say, health hazard qualities. It shows in our body that we are having some digestive problems, and it make us feel fatigued and all. So why, and that's why all these things goes to some chemical factories to check its toxicity level. So
Mm.
if it can, you know uh, if using those chemical pesticides and insecticide can, you know impact our body in such a way, our health and all, and that means when we are having those plants which are also going under stress, and the fruits coming out of it, if you are having it, then what it's doing to our body, or if not something that is visible, those symptoms, maybe in a way like a slow poison, it's acting like a slow poison, and maybe you can see it in our communication or behavior, or maybe we're getting irritated. We get easily irritated by having those lifestyles which are uh, lifestyle that we consume this kind of foods, and then we don't care about healthy foods, and we're just consuming it to just survive, that's it. So we don't think all these things in that direction. That is something that I think people should care to know, because if we are indulging into organic foods, we should also know that where is it coming from, and how it's been made, and why we do need organic foods anyway. Why the other things that was happening after the green revolution, we've been having all this wheat and rice, all these things, but it was not doing, it was not banned or anything like that. But now people are more conscious about their health over food also. So
Mm.
why is it even happening? If it's happening, well, you must know the reason also. So that is the reason why I started to connect emotions as well as foods, means how I jumped into it. That is the basic thing, because I studied stress effects, and then I also wanted to study the effects on us, means the humans.
Wow, wow. I think from today I become more conscious on this. Like, I'm not just eating food, I am eating so many chemicals along with that, so many nutrients along with that, so many things like a life of like something which is pranic force which I
Yeah.
am eating it. Wow, wow. So that's amazing. Like, it also builds the relationship with the human and the food. There is
Yes.
no relationship, it's just whatever you said, like whenever we are emotional, so like birthday party for example becomes more emotional, so that brings different emotions.
Yes.
So we like we go and consume different kinds of food. So wow, that's like completely like blown away information. Thank you for that.
Okay.
So doctor, I have one more question.
Yeah.
Like, can certain types of food enhance or worsen our emotions?
Yes, as a matter of fact, yes, it does. As I said earlier, that when we indulge into more unhealthy foods
Okay.
like the carbonated drinks, it
Mm-hmm.
is having. concentrated sugar,
Okay.
and like gluten rich foods. It's having more glycemic index, something that it increases our blood sugar level. So that and that is the reason why it is suggested to the diabetic patients that you must have foods which are having components, constituents as low glycemic index. Okay, so if we are having more of this is not only means impacting our emotions, it's also impacting our brain health in a lot of way. So brain is something like we have parts of brain is like emotional brain and other part is rational brain, right? So
Hmm.
but the signal that it carries, it takes time to reach the rational brain. Actually, it always
Hmm.
reaches first at the emotional part of the brain. So if we are consuming more of this, like if we are having more of sugar related means sugar based foods, what is happening, this sugar, high dose of sugar, it is making a connection, or making, you can say, the reaction with the lipids and proteins more, and that's called the glycation. What it does, if you are taking more of protein or more of this, then it promotes aging process. You will age faster than you should, you know. So all it also that is called your again cell, how your cell is dividing. So
Hmm.
you must concentrate, or you must focus on the things that what you are consuming. I think as we know that fruit is food, or vegetables, these are having a different colors, okay, and size and shape, and I told before, like nature has already categorized all these foods on the basis of its size. Like we know the walnut, its size, its size is like a brain. It looks like a brain, right? So it's actually good for brain. Well, you must
Hmm.
if you are for your good brain health, you must consume walnut. And in case
Hmm.
of carrot, we all know carrot is good for eyes, because of vitamin A. I know vitamin A is uh, what we need for eyes. And if you cut through a carrot, you'll see that there's a, the shape of it. It looks like eye. And I learned
Yeah.
it from, yeah, I learned it from one of my mentor, this Jim Quick, and it was fascinating to learn that actually.
Hmm.
So that nature has already given us all these foods that which are actually good for our organs, and we just don't care to feel about it. So, and I have also learned from my other mentors that you have to make a connection with your food, otherwise you will never enjoy, or it's not going to give the proper or proper nutrition, or its potential nutrients into your body. It will mostly like make excreta out of it rather. So what is that, like when we are eating, we should be focused on solely eating, not watching a TV, or having a mobile or conversation or anything. Just having a moment with your food. Just I practiced it. It's not like in this hectic life. I am also not doing that. Sometimes I'm working and then eating, but I've also tried practicing this habit, like solely just having my dinner plate, and just understand the taste of it, feel it, and making a connection with that food, that what is going into my body. And uh, and uh, if I make a emotional connection with that food, that means like if I want to feel that this food is good for my digestive process, then it
Hmm.
is act in that way. It's you're going to get the 100% ability of that food for the health of your digestive system. But I think like that. and
Hmm.
uh, and likewise the other things, as you said, uh, whether it worsens our moods or not. So healthy foods, if you're having, it's not only good for your aging process, it's also good for your moods, mood swings and all that. Okay, it can it can remain you calm person, like if you are having more trans fats based foods. Okay, it increases the radical free radical in our body, and which is actually not good for health. It creates stress inside our body, and it's also reason for many diseases in our body. So,
Mm.
so we must focus on fruits and vegetables which are having more antioxidants, because plant plant-based foods are they are rich in antioxidants, and like phenolic compounds and flavonoids, which are actually also used in nutraceutical treatment of human diseases. So
Mm.
I would say, like, there was a case study that happened that they have 50 more than 50 students, college, and so they have tried to understand that how their behavior is taking place because of what sort of a food they're consuming. So they have
Okay.
found that positive food, positive reactions or positive thinking process, positive patterns, they found that this is more with those students who are consuming uh, like nutrient based foods, like plant based foods, okay, compared to those which are actually showing the more negative emotions like irritability, boredom, laziness, or anger, something like that. So they are consuming more junk foods of fried items or fast food types, which are like pizza, burger, and all. So this was a study, so they understood it, okay, this kind of foods also has some effects on our emotions, and then we get to see the symptoms like aggression, like anger, like more of fights, because there is no calmness in their, even when they talk. So it happens. So unhealthy foods and healthy foods, these are all categorized. So based on that study, there was another study that where it is suggested that there is a diet named as mind. M stands for Mediterranean, and I for intervention in neurodegenerative delay. So here, DASH is what they try. DASH is a diet approaches that stops hypertension.
Mm.
So in that, they have categorized 10 healthy food that you should have in your menu, and other like 5 unhealthy foods that you should not or avoid consuming. So here you'll get to see trans fat based foods or pesticides affected foods. And in case of healthy foods, you will find more leafy vegetables, and which are having omega-3 fatty acids like fish. This is the white meat, but they do tell to avoid the charred meats or red meats, because that in a long run it does not have a good effect in your cells. It can even turn your cells into carcinogenic effects, like it can even cause cancer. So yeah, so I would say that in terms of emotions, I should say that unhealthy foods, it changes our emotions, and it takes us to this other part of, like, there is a scale for emotional behaviors. In case of the upper one, it's happy, joyful, enjoyable, and excitement. In the downer, as you go down the scale, it's sad, boredom, and all. So it takes us to the down part of the scale when we take unhealthy foods on junk foods. I mean, there is nothing about fast food. You cannot make food that fast,
Mm.
because you are playing with the nature here. Okay, you're playing with the nature here. If you're heating something too much, that means some of its proteins get degenerated, and you're not taking everything out of it anyway, so it's not going to be of your use, or your body cannot, you're not going to get what you are actually looking for in that food. So it's going to be stored, and you're just storing fat instead of you utilizing its nutrients inside your body. Yeah.
Oh wow, wow! There is so much behind the food we are eating. Wow, that's great. But how to identify, like, because as a person, how to identify that, like, this is healthy food or unhealthy food, or like whatever you say, like, how can we identify that?
No, God has gifted us with the taste buds, okay,
Okay.
and sense, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and that is the reason why in biochemistry what happens, we taste foods, whether it's a good quality or not, it's about using our olfactory senses. Olfactory senses, like when we smell something or when we see something. Okay, so by the look of that fruit or appearance and the size and shape, we can say that yeah, it's a quality one. Okay, and even when we smell it, you will get to smell whether it's a sweeter one or not. Okay,
Hmm.
so we know that okay, it has got all the nutrients, that's why it's giving us that taste. Okay, sometimes what happens when we cook some food, some vegetables, okay, we don't have to add water to make the gravy. The vegetables itself leaves that water inside, the moisture content that it has in and it acts as its own gravy. And you can just try these things. You can make one vegetable without adding water, another vegetable just adding water, and just
Okay.
then taste it. You'll feel it that which one is more tastier. Something that is coming out of your core, it has to be a tastier, right? You're not
Hmm.
adding something from outside. It is
Yeah.
coming from you. So the food is having their own moisture content. And
Hmm.
if it's like with this, making a steam out of it and then cooking from its own steam, so obviously this is going to give you the nutrients are there. It's not evaporating, you're getting all of it, and then you are taking it, so you know that I am getting all the nutrients, what I'm looking for in that food. On the other hand, when you are adding more water just to make it soft, that means it is not having enough moisture content, and that's why you're adding water. And you will get to see the difference between the quality of the taste of that food. And certainly your emotions, you'll certainly say, okay, this is not good, I'm not feeling good about this food. Why you're not feeling good about this food? Because you're not able to connect with the food. The food
Hmm.
is not, food has not used its own quality here. And that is the reason why it is giving, it is giving you a feeling through your senses, that is your smell, and your eyes are looking at it, and the information that is going on inside your brain, the signals, and the emotion that you are showing here. Okay, I'm not feeling good about this food, this is not going to be good for me or my stomach. Okay, and likewise the other, on the other hand, the other food will, it will give you pleasure, it will give you some sort of a happiness, you'll feel it. I mean, it's just experimental. So I would say rather you do it to learn it or to feel it. I cannot make you understand this. This is something what I did, and I found that yeah, means food also has their own thing going on.
Oh, great, great. Thank you for that wonderful knowledge, Dr. Tanya. So my last question of this talk show would
Yeah.
be: so can certain foods have an impact on our sleep and emotions?
Yes, and I have actually experienced it personally, and
Mm-hmm.
like
Which
there
food,
was
like
some
on sleep, especially on sleep, if you can tell us?
specify it. Okay, I would
Yeah,
say
specify.
that the brain health foods, means which are good
Okay.
for your brain,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it can also solve the problem of your sleep disorders.
Okay.
Because yeah, so because of the consuming all these unhealthy foods, what happens to our brain is that we suffer from sleep apnea. Well, now, what
Mm.
is the sleep apnea? Is something that you're sleeping, and in between your breathing stops and starts. It's something like that, and sometimes it stops for a while. That it's a risk for your life. So what your brain does is that it wakes you up in the middle of the process of your sleep. So that happens. Now, why it happens? Because of maybe narrow airway. Okay, you're not, you're breathing the oxygen level that your body needs or your brain needs to function. So
Mm.
here what happens, because of obesity and uh, large tonsils, those people who are having large tonsils or something like that, and narrow weight, so it narrows down your airway path, and
Mm.
you develop sleep apnea. So there was a study of brain scans, those people who are having sleep apnea, or shows like severity of sleep apnea. So brain scans showed that some of the parts of their brain are not having good flow of blood. Okay, good
Mm.
flow of blood. So they get to see some holes in that. These are not naturally made holes. These are the holes that's made because of this unhealthy lifestyle. So
Mm.
because of this unhealthy lifestyle, that means we are not eating at the proper time, and we are
Mm.
eating for longer duration,
Yeah.
and and we are eating late. Okay, we're
Mm-hmm.
sleeping late. All these
Mm.
things, it okay, maybe when you are young you don't get to feel it, but there is a time when your biological clock biological clock goes the other way, and then you get to feel it. Okay, then now you need to slow down, and you need to
Yeah.
check out that, okay, you need to manage yourself with the
Yeah.
time, and then you need to you know just decrease that duration. When you have food, you can have the
Mm.
food, you can chew the food uh, within 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Okay, and because of that, your breathing style changes. Okay,
Mm.
because of some when we indulge into having unhealthy foods, we store
Mm.
fats in the cells and the part of our body, and then if it's in our genetics that we can become obese,
Mm.
then we're going to also develop sleep apnea or insomnia, and it's not good for our overall health anyway. So to for sleep apnea, we suggest that go for brain healthy foods. For example, as I told, walnut, avocado, and even dark chocolates is also there. Dark chocolates, it's increases our boosts our mood. So
Mm-hmm.
there is a list of brain healthy foods. You can just search and find
Mm.
out which are brain healthy foods, and it helps in many ways in case of our breathing pattern. And
Mm-hmm.
because our breathing pattern is very important for our sleep. uh,
Yeah.
yeah, and again, it's a cycle actually, and sleep is also important for our overall performance, and
Mm.
overall, like, emotional balance with the rational mind. This is also important. So we are like intertwined with everything.
Mm. Wow, so much like it's so connected. Everything is like the life which we are living is so connected. It's happening because of many things, not just the money we are earning, right?
Yeah,
We always think like the life is happening because the money we are earning, but it's
yeah,
not happening only just because of we are earning. There is so many factors involved in to happen this life. So wow, like these all like making us really become conscious, and we all are sharing this planet each other.
yeah.
So wow, that's amazing. So
And that's
Dr.
why they
Tanya,
said
it
that
was,
health is wealth.
yeah, exactly. Like health is wealth, and the more like at the end, if you are not taking care of your health, you have to spend all your wealth to take care of your health.
How long
So
you're gonna run anyway? Your battery is gonna drain.
yes, yes, yes. As you are saying, like when you are young, you are okay. Like, but when it goes on, like you feel that. So I also see like the people who are conscious are above, like adults, like who become more conscious than like young people. But
Mm.
we already spoiled our health, and going back and fixing takes some time. So, but
Yeah,
people again want immediate solutions. So when
yeah.
it comes to immediate solution, the only option is to take pills
Yeah,
to
supplementary. Yeah,
yeah, the supplements to reduce the the symptoms especially.
yeah,
So yeah, but it was very very like informative for our audience. I think now they become more food conscious. But at the end, Dr. Tanya, before you leave, I
yeah.
want to share one tip. What would you like to
Sure.
share? One tip to our audience.
Well, I would say start making a bond with your own food. Okay,
Mm.
and means be conscious about what you are taking, or what you are giving inside your engine. Okay, because
Mm.
when you use premium fuel, it's
Mm.
then you know how your bike runs. So it's really
Yeah.
important what you are buying and what you're also giving inside, and how you're using it, and with the proper time. It's not like you're going to ride the bike for the whole day. At some point you're going to stop. So And so the duration also, and how long you are taking the food means what is the time limit that you are giving yourself to have the food. And you must also check that whether you are overeating or not, because all these things it's gonna affect your mood, uh, and your health and your personality, your characters, everything.
Wow, that's great. Interesting. Yes, as you said, like people always say, like don't watch for phone or TV while you are eating. But today, because you explained us why we should not watch, so that is what really impact people on like
I
why
also
they should
learned it
not.
from someone,
Yes, 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 yes.
yeah, someone, and then I tried it. So I think you can also try it. It's all about knowledge transfer. So here I'm transferring.
Yes, exactly, exactly. So the more we educate, like the people, so that it's about like how we should live. So these are
Yeah.
not taught in our schooling. They only
No.
taught us the intellectually how should we grow, but they did not teach us how should we live.
Yeah.
So so everything at the end, like the we are missing the important aspect of it, of our living.
Yes.
So
Yeah. And
like
how we're connecting with the nature.
what it's very very interesting. Like thank you so much, Dr. Tanya, for coming here and enlightening with all this wisdom to our audience. And I 100% guarantee that people who really watch this video completely are going to become more conscious on what they are eating, their relationship with food, their relationship with the plants, their relationship with their emotions or their body will also be completely different. So thank you so
Thank
much
you.
again and taking your time with your
Thank you
busy
so
schedule.
much.
And
Thank you so much.
thank
I think I could do some justice to that topic.
you. A
And
lot, a lot.
yeah,
That's very interesting. Thank you.
thank you so much. Thank you.